Hello, the internet. Welcome to the Talking Headstone. This is a podcast where I talk about Gothic art and Gothic subculture. Since this is the very first episode, I'm going to start with a brief mission statement for this podcast and just a very brief background on me and kind of how I fit into the Gothic community and subculture. Then the topic for today's episode is a review of the new album by the Birthday Massacre called Diamonds. So I am a goth. I've been goth for about 7 years now, since 2013, so 7 years at the time of recording. I came to goth in sort of a weird way. I discovered most of my favorite bands through Voltaire. My favorite band of all time is the band I'm talking about today, the Birthday Massacre. That's why I thought this would be a good introductory episode. I would say my personal style can be described as fairly casual trad goth. When just kind of day to day, I wear band T-shirts, black slacks, black collared overshirt, and a lot of jewelry. Then when I'm going out to a club night or a gig, I dress up a bit more. I have a Victorian morning coat and some other clothes that I'll put on. I tend to go for more of a Victorian goth look when I'm dressing up. I very recently started experimenting with makeup. I'm very, very new in that. I don't really go for the, really elaborate goth look. I want to, and I'm slowly getting there, but in terms of my aesthetic, I'm still kind of in the baby bat phase, despite the fact that I've been doing this for 7 years. So yeah, that's me. But yeah, with my makeup, I'm just experimenting with some very basic eyeliner and lipstick. I'm basically just trying to copy Kimberly Freeman from One Eyed Doll at this point because she's rad, and I love her. So the purpose of this podcast is I am a goth. I am very passionate about gothic art. I'm kind of loosely involved with the scene here in Cardiff. I don't get out very much. So I don't know a ton about the scene. I definitely don't claim to be a expert on anything. I'm just an enthusiast. I'm a member of the subculture, and I'm very passionate about the art. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on is just Gothic art. I'm going to talk about any and all types of Gothic art on this podcast, from music to comics to films to video games to illustration and everything in between. Although I do expect to spend an overwhelming majority of my time talking about music, because that's kind of at the center of the scene and is my primary passion. So with that out of the way, on to today's topic and the Birthday Massacre. The Birthday Massacre is a Canadian goth rock band founded in 1999 in London, Ontario, and they are currently based in the city of Toronto. The band was originally called Imagica, but they later changed their name to the Birthday Massacre, taking the name from one of their early songs, The Birthday Massacre, which is still a staple at live shows, and it is awesome. The creative force behind the band is the trio of singer Chibi, rhythm guitarist Rainbow, and lead guitarist Falcor. All the members of the band use stage names, many of them inspired by the Neverending Story. The Birthday Massacre have a very strong aesthetic. They lean heavily into the juxtaposition of the whimsical and the macabre, of horror and innocence, and they draw a lot of emotion and a lot of interesting aesthetics from that. Their aesthetic is beautiful. It's all creepy dolls and bright violets and black color palettes. The color violet is kind of a signature of the band because it's the collision of two opposites. Um, Red and Blue, and the Birthday Massacre do love uh, their clashing opposites. Their music is this beautiful, surreal, dark synth rock soundscape. It's very 80s inspired, trad goth with beautiful, glittering synths, courtesy of keyboardist Owen, who has been with the band since the album Violet. And they just weave these gorgeous, surreal, emotional lyrics. Birthday Mask lyrics are really interesting to dissect because they tend to be very oblique and very metaphor heavy, and really, really fun to dig into. And Chibi has such a gorgeous way with words. Her poetry is amazing. She uses all these gorgeous metaphors and striking turns of phrase, and the music is this clash of, the glittering 80s synths and heavy distorted guitars and thudding bass riffs and splashy drums. They use a mix of organic and electronic drums, and I love this band so much. They're so amazing. Um, and their music just fires my imagination like no other band can possibly do. If you want to know what the inside of my head looks like, look up the Birthday Massacre music video. I particularly recommend, I'll do a bit on music videos another time, but one to recommend is my favorite music video of all time. It's by the Birthday Massacre. It's for the song In the Dark. It's like a short horror film. It's awesome. I love it. It's creepy as hell. It's a great jump scare at the end. It's so good. So Diamonds, the new album by the Birthday Massacre, is their eighth studio album. I'd like to talk a little bit about the album art. It is gorgeous. It's this skull design with like a haunted house coming out of the skull and flames and branches coming out, and it's talking to a rabbit again. The bloodstained rabbit is kind of the band's mascot. Again, again, that's a juxtaposition of horror and innocence with the ravenous, blood-stained rabbit. I don't think it's a Monty Python reference. I think that's just coincidence. But I love that image, and the artwork here is just gorgeous. So now I'm going to go through every song on the album and give my brief thoughts. And something I'm going to be doing as I go through each of these songs is I'm going to mention the color that the song kind of conjures to my mind. This is an interesting intellectual exercise because color is a recurring theme with the Birthday Massacre's music. They use color metaphor a lot. It showed up repeatedly on the album Violet with different songs named after different colors. Violet is their signature, and I just think it's a really interesting idea. I absolutely cannot take credit for this. I saw this idea of of associating colors with Birthday Massacre songs when their last album, Under Your Spell, came out. I was looking around on YouTube for people talking about this album because I loved it so much. That album is so amazing, and I just wanted to hear people talking about it and share my love of this album with other people. And I found this vlog by a girl. I wish I could remember what her screen name was or what her channel was, and I could find this video again, but I can't. But this was her idea. She went through the album. She was really enthusiastic, and she mentioned what color each song brought to her mind. And I thought this was a really cool idea, so I'd like to do it for my reviews of Birthday Massacre albums. So we start with the opening track, Enter. There's a really good rhythm to this song. I love Chibi's cadence on this song. She's amazing throughout this entire album. The entire band's amazing throughout this entire album, of course, but Chibi, I think this is one of Chibi's strongest. I love the recurring line, I know I made you leave, but I would follow you anywhere. I get definite themes of lost love and misconnections from this song. It's so longing and yearning. These are emotions that Birthday Massacre does so well. I love the imagery of the Escher staircase into the underworld. MC Escher is one of my favorite illustrators. And that image of the Escher staircase descending into the darkness of the underworld is so evocative. It reminds me of one of my favorite SCPs, the Staircase to Hell. And just that image of this confusing, impossible architecture descending into the darkness is just so evocative. And the color I get from this song is a deep, lightless black. The next track is The Sky Will Turn, or Sky Will Turn. Again, I love Chibi's cadence on this song. It's so beautiful. It's so rhythmic. It's like beat poetry. I love the little guitar and synth stings at the end of each line. They're so subtle and so beautiful. I love the symmetry in the verses in this song. The metaphors follow the same format in a really clever and beautiful way that my prosody nerd brain finds very, very pleasing. My favorite lyric in the entire album is in this song, but if there's a full moon breaking, it's painting our faces. I get themes of the masks we wear and putting on a brave face in the face of adversity. That's redundant statements. But I get those themes coming very strong through in on this song, and I see a rich shade of violet when listening to the song. It feels like a very classic Birthday Massacre track. Up next, we have the title track, Diamonds. I really like the intro to this song. It's very ominous. And the lyrics open with a great four-line rhyme, made, refrain, pain, rain. The Birthday Massacre and Chibi is very good at these AAA rhyme patterns where she rhymes one word with another word with another word in three or more consecutive lines. We'll see that again in the album, and I like that a lot. That has a big influence on my poetry as well. I write poetry, by the way. It's bad, but Chibi is one of my primary influences as a poet, along with Edgar Allan Poe, because I am a goth. I think Diamonds is a pretty straightforward alternative anthem. We are diamonds in the dark. People tend to walk right past us, but we still shine. Pardon me. It feels a little straightforward for a Birthday Massacre song. Usually the Birthday Massacre's lyrics are very oblique, very surreal, kind of difficult to dissect, but it makes them very interesting and very evocative. They're very metaphor heavy, but it seems like a pretty straightforward alternative anthem. But it's a great sentiment, delivered very well. I like it a lot, and I get a ghostly shade of blue when listening to this song. Up next, we have the track Run. I get themes of a broken relationship and stumbling in a daze through the aftermath from this song. The lyric that most stands out to me is I'm never awake, but I'm always dreaming. That sense of both being kind of stuck in this state of constant awakeness, this theme of insomnia coming through, but always being in that state of feeling like you're dreaming, like nothing's real, just being in that daze from a broken relationship, lost love. And I think that's very relatable. It's very beautiful kind of image and sentiment. I really like the rhyme in the chorus of this song of "We can't start over with on your shoulders." Very good rhyme there. And I love the whispered bridge that starts at "It won't stop because we can't start over." Chibi has this great whispering rasp to her voice that she puts on sometimes. That's really, really good. And again, on that, in that bridge, we get the theme of insomnia again, with "Can't sleep until our hearts beat slower." It's kind of a recurring theme of insomnia there, which I find very interesting. There's a really good echoing guitar solo in this song. It's not too flashy. It's very melancholy. The Birthday Massacre does that really well with lovely, restrained, moody guitar parts. It's heavy. It's brooding. It's really, really good. And the color I get from this song is a deep, bloody maroon, like dried blood. The themes of kind of running away give it kind of a slight violent undertone, which I find very interesting. Next, we get to the song Flashback. This song gets right into it, no introduction in this song, which is a bit out of place for Birthday Massacre songs. They usually have instrumental introductions. Again, I absolutely adore Chibi's cadence on this song. Her voice is so beautiful. I love Chibi's voice so much. She's my favorite singer. There's a great thudding bass riff, and a nice screeching guitar solo. I think probably the best on the album on this song. I love the little vocal accentuations at the end of "Nothing New" and "Deja Vu." This feels like nothing new. Ooh, it feels like yesterday. This feels like deja vu. Ooh, feels like yesterday. It's so pretty. I get big existentialist vibes from this song, and themes of the passage of song and strong sense of ennui. It touches again on that theme of the masks we wear and the roles we play. That's the theme that the Birthday Massacre come back to a lot. There's more multi-line rhyming, part, heart, start near the end of the song. And again, I get a ghostly blue from this song, even more strongly than on Diamonds. Next, we have the song "The Last Goodbye." This is one of two singles released for the album. The other was "Sky Will Turn." "The Last Goodbye" is so longing. It's so beautiful. Once again, I love Chibi's cadence. Her voice is so pretty. It's so gorgeous. This song is so yearning and longing. It's so pretty. The chorus of this song is amazing. I love the lyric, "Through the life and the death of the waking dream," and the recurring line, "There's a place we can go if you just stay close to me." It's so romantic. And I see a very deep indigo when I hear this song. Again, it feels like a really classic Birthday Massacre track. I can see why these were the singles they picked. They're two of the best songs on the album. They're so good. Next is the song Crush. There's something that feels kind of primal about this song. I swear when I'm listening to it, I can see cave paintings in my mind. It has a great rhythm and a great use of heavy and softer, slower passages. There's more color symbolism in this song. Deep black crush, pale blue love, white blood, blue ash, pink smoke. The song feels scared, but also sinister. Um, and I see a shade of umber when I hear the song. It's really, really interesting. I get that strong kind of primal feeling from it, this feeling of fear. It feels like it's exploring themes of fear. Up next is the song Mirrors, along with Crush. This is probably one of the heaviest songs on the albums. I love the heavy guitars and the little synth stings in there. I love the thudding bass line. The song feels dark and hopeless until the chorus comes in with a ray of light and breaks it up and again gives that juxtaposition that the Birthday Massacre do so well. There's a guitar sting in this song that I absolutely adore. It's repeated several times throughout the song, but you hear it right at the end with the beautiful synths. So you can hopefully pick out what I'm talking about if you listen to the song. And from this song, I get a deep, dark black. Then finally, we have the song Parallel Worlds. This has a beautiful, airy opening. It's very ethereal, very airy and pretty. The glimmering guitars and sparkling synths are gorgeous. The song is very slow, and you can hear the emotion that Chibi is pouring into every word. There's a lovely guitar crescendo at the end of each line in the chorus, and I love the lyric in the chorus. And they burned every shred of innocence, leaving a skeleton boy, a skeleton girl. It's such a stark image of death and innocence lost. When I'm listening to this song, I see a bright, pure light. White. A bright, pure white. So those are all the tracks on the album. It's only 9 tracks long. So here are my thoughts on the album overall. It is excellent. I love this album so much. I do feel like the Birthday Massacre's last album, Under Your Spell, hit me a little bit harder. This maybe isn't my favorite Birthday Massacre album, but it is probably going to become one of my favorite albums of all time because all the Birthday Massacre albums are on that list. Except Magica, but that's a story for another day. I like Magica, it's just, I don't think it counts. When I do a How to Get Into the Birthday Massacre, I'll talk about that. But the album is gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's well written, it's well composed. Chibi is absolutely on point. There's some gorgeous poetry in this album, some gorgeous instrumentation. I love those Birthday Massacre synths, I love the heavy guitars, I love the drums, I love the bass. Chibi's voice is so pretty, I love Chibi. She was my first celebrity crush, and I still have a massive crush on her. She's amazing. Whole band is amazing. It does feel like it's a tad short at only 9 tracks, but it doesn't feel like it's anemic or anything. You know, not the Birthday Massacre came in, they delivered 9 killer tracks, and that's nothing to complain about. The closer, Parallel World. I do feel like it's not one of the Birthday Massacre's strongest closers. It is a very good song, it's just not one of their best. Birthday Massacre albums tend to end on slower, more ballad-esque tracks. The last album, Under Your Spell, had 2 excellent final tracks, The Lowest Low and Endless. And I feel like Parallel World just isn't quite as good. It's still an excellent song. Again, don't get me wrong, I love that song. It's beautiful. It's just not one of their best. But in the end, the question to answer is, would I recommend this album? Absolutely. If anything I've said here sounds like this might be your jam, then absolutely give this album a listen. Look it up on YouTube or Spotify. Give it a listen. And if you like what you hear, please consider supporting the band and buy the album if you can. It's available on all online music retailers, and you can buy a CD directly from the band, as well as a bunch of cool merch. Support good music, people. It's absolutely worth it. But yeah, if you're just getting into goth music, I think the Birthday Massacre are a great band to start with. I think this is a great album to start with. Or if you've been in the scene since the 80s and want to check out some of the new music that comes out, this is a grade A example of new goth bands making amazing music. So check it out. So thank you very much for listening. If you have listened, just a little bit to close off on again what this podcast is intended as. It is primarily intended as a kind of audio diary for my own use, where I, summarize my thoughts on Gothic art, on albums that I like, and artists that I like, and comics that I'm reading, artwork that I enjoy, etc., etc. But it is my hope, if perhaps not my expectation, that perhaps somebody will stumble across this little podcast and I'll be able to introduce them to some new dark art. So if that's you, then I hope I was able to introduce you into something beautiful that you'll grow to love as much as I do. To finish out, I'd just like to thank Olivia Tate for designing my beautiful Talking Headstone logo. You can find her on Facebook or Instagram under Olivia Tate Design. She does beautiful work. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.